Hello everyone. Today I'm actually going to be showing how to adjust the polycards in Polymoogs. This is something I've never really discussed too well. But anyways, what we've got here is I got my Polymoog powered up. And basically I'm just going to give you a quick sound of what it sounds like when these cards need adjusting. What happens is when you move these things around, even in a studio, or it can be a very simple move, these cards tend to just loosen and they pop out of position a little bit. And it's not even really that you can tell it by loose cards. It's actually just the way it mates with the contacts. But what I'm going to show you here first of all is actually what a loose card will sound like. And so anyways, you'll hear one note will be more fuzzy than the rest. So we'll go down the keys here. There we go, there's one that needs to be adjusted. You can hear how it's more fuzzy than the other keys. There's another one. So that's just an example of what these cards will sound like. And then what you can do is remember what notes it was, and on the keyboard you count up. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It'd be the 9th key that needs to be adjusted. So then what you do is you actually shut power off, like so, and you lift this card here, and you count up to your 6th poly card, or 9th, I forget which one it was. Let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 9th card, sorry. So it's the 9th. So then what you'll do is you'll go to the 9th card here, and you'll adjust your 9th poly card, which you'll count from left to right. And you've also got your balancer card, which you can see there, which is a little different looking. You actually skip over that one when you're counting, because that's just a balancer card. It's not associated with actual independent cards. So yeah, those will need to be adjusted. But basically also, let me go back here just a little bit. These things are actually hinged. All these boards are hinged, so you can actually lift them up. But what you have to do to get to your poly cards is on your top left board here, you'll remove screw here, there's a screw over here, which you can see, and there's a screw there. You don't have to remove these back ones here because they're actually on hinges, so they'll lift up. Now, one note, always make sure your hinges are working correctly. If you feel any strain on the board, stop. Because if it's ever been worked on, sometimes the hinges can get sideways, and basically they won't hinge up. You'll just end up breaking your circuit board, and then you'll be out a lot of stuff. But basically you do this for all the boards. On your center board here, which is your fixed filters for your presets, you'll actually notice the ends have actual nuts with lock washers, and those are your hinges on this board. There is one little different trick on this board though to lift it. You actually have to remove this filter here to get to this screw, which you can see it's underneath this lip of that card. And you can actually, I think if I'm not mistaken, there's enough tracing under this little card. If you wanted to actually file this this card out, you could actually make room to get that screw in and out. But don't hold me to that, because you'll need to look and see where that tracing runs on this board. But basically same thing here. You'll move this one, remove this guy, and there is not one under there. Now some Polymoogs might have one under there. This one I just never did install one. So you might actually have one between these two cards here, which you will have to remove both cards. But just remember which cards go where, because these are different. So you got that, and then basically it'll lift up just the same way. You'll have the same keys, the same poly cards here. And basically then you got this board here, which is your voice control filter, your top right board. For this one here, there's a little difference too. If you actually got this wire here added, which you can see I've had this one added on, you'll actually unplug it from there, and then you'll just remove the same screws once again on this one, keeping the last ones in. So this board here can lift up, but you can see it's the same identical thing throughout these Polymoogs. But you don't really have to adjust every card. It's just really the ones that you hear are fuzzy. So you can do just like what I just did, go down to your keyboard and make a note of which keys are fuzzy. And then basically you'll just lift that card and then you'll adjust that poly card. Actually, I can do this one-handed. I don't really like touching these circuit boards without an anti-static strap. And that's something I recommend if you do work on these things, to get an anti-static strap. Because right now I'm actually just touching just the very edge of the board. You do not want to make contact with these boards really unless you have anti-static wrist strap on, because you can actually damage these boards by static, and it's never an easy thing to fix. So what we'll do here, I've actually got my camera propping this board up. We said it was the 9th key, so we'll count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's this poly card here. So basically all you'll do is you'll just wiggle it out of the connector. You can see how it comes out. You can see your connector down in there. It's a red connector. And basically all you do is just line it back up and push it back in. Now in some cases these poly cards do go bad and cause this problem to never fix. So now what we'll do, we'll actually power it up again. Preset 9. Let me set up my stuff here because it automatically defaults to some of the settings here. And now let's see if that key here is fixed. See, it works now, but now I probably bump this key. You can hear it's a different sounding. But that one's fixed. Also, so we'll try it with this key here, because evidently I knocked it when I was adjusting that one. So that'll be the 10th poly card. So once again we'll shut power off. And you could probably actually do this with power on. I'm just very reluctant to remove things with power applied, because you can actually surge things in some cases. Especially if you don't get all the pins in at the same time, you can actually feed some things with voltage before it's ready, and you can damage things. So let's count again for our 10th poly card. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's this card right here. And we'll pull it. Whoops. Got slipping here on my camera. Alright, let's see if that fixed that note now. Once again, that could be a bad poly card. So we'll power back up. Preset here. Let's see if this fixed that problem. And it did. You can hear that key now sounds correct. There's one I still hadn't adjusted. Anyways guys, that's how you adjust the poly cards and Polymoogs. And I hope this video helps some of you out. Also, one thing I should note is how to remove the top cover, because you will have to remove the top cover, of course, to get to anything inside. Basically, your top cover, it's actually supported by these screws here in front, which you can actually see have a lock washer on them to hold them in position so they don't just fall out. But basically, what you do is you'll look underneath here, and you can see it's a knob right here. And basically you'll just twist that and you'll feel it drop down. And once that's dropped down, then your front's loose. There's nothing else holding the front on. But if you've still got screws in the back of your Polymoog, you'll have a screw here, 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 and then there's one down here by the switch. And basically those 4 screws hold the cover on. So you'll remove those, loosen these guys, and the cover will lift off. And you always start by lifting on the front first and then working it back, because you got to clear all these knobs and CV outs, or your S trigger out, and of course you have to unplug all your cabling to get it off, because there's a lip below all of this. But anyways guys, that's pretty much how you remove the cover and how you adjust your poly cards. And some other symptoms of loose poly cards is not really just the fuzzy notes, but you can actually lose waveforms, and you can actually have a constant sustain. And that's another symptom of a poly card that's loose. And if you take it out, put it back in, it still does it. It could be a chance that you have a bad poly card. or it could actually be dirty contacts between the board that's just not making good. So what you can actually do, if you need to troubleshoot, if you got a bad polycard, you can actually remove a polycard and switch places with another one. And if it does it on that key that you change the polycard with, then you know you've probably got a bad polycard. So that's a good way of testing and seeing if it's actually your card or just a bad connection. And you can also clean the card too. What I use is sometimes I use deoxit, which is really good. It leaves an oily residue, so I usually wipe it down. Or you can use an eraser. Actually, a pencil eraser does really good. You can get one of those big erasers, like you would, I guess, use in drafting or whatever. And those work really good. But anyways, guys, I hope this video helped some of you out. And just thought I'd take a quick minute here and document this for anybody that might need help with this. I know I've worked on several Polymoogs now. And figured I'd share this with some of you out there that may need some help. But anyways, guys, take care, and thanks very much for watching.